Hey guys, this is Jen from Head to Toe, and today I wanted to share with you some of my favorite makeup brushes, just some of my essential brushes that I use on basically a day-to-day basis. So I just wanted to start off with some of the face brushes and then I'll move on to the eye brushes. So for the face, I think that in a general sense, everybody needs to own a basic powder brush. The thing that I really look for in a powder brush is for it to be really large and really soft, because this is going to be rubbing up against your face a lot. So I think it's really important for it to be very soft. There's a lot of brushes that might look like nice powder brushes, but you have to feel it. If it doesn't feel right on your hand, it's not going to feel right on your face. And I have a couple favorites. First of all, I really like the Sigma F30 powder brush. As you can see, it's huge. So what I like doing is for loose powder especially, I'll do this and then I'll just either pat it onto my face like that or like this, or I'll even swirl things onto my face like that. And I also really like this brush. This is a brush from a brand called Makeup Show, which they sell some brushes online, and I think they actually manufacture a lot of branded brushes for other companies as well. And this is the H01 brush. As you can see, it has kind of a nice wooden handle to it. I feel like the individual bristles are finer than other powder brushes, so it's very soft as well. And it's a little bit smaller, so when I travel, sometimes I'll take this one instead. And then moving on to sort of contour and blush and highlight, my favorite blush brush, please forgive me, this is a little dirty because obviously I use it all the time. This is my Sigma F40 angled blush brush, and the F40 brush is my favorite blush brush of all time. I like it better than any brushes really from any brands because, again, I've seen a lot of brushes that look like this, but they're just not very soft, and these are just the right angle and the right density. The way I like applying blush is I'll just swirl it like that, and then I just actually tap this into my skin. So because of the angle, it's really easy to just get right around your cheekbone. It just kind of makes a really natural, nice shape. So I like this one a lot. And then for bronzer, when I'm trying to contour that sort of thing, I kind of like using a denser brush. It might be different for different people. Some people like using a thinner brush, not so dense, and using a heavier hand when applying their bronzer. I prefer taking a thicker brush and using a light hand, just so I feel like I have a lot of control over it. So that's kind of up to preference, but I really like this one for my bronzer. This is also from Makeup Show. This is the 22B01 brush. It has the black handle, and what I like about this is it's super dense, plus it has those same really thin fibers, so it's really soft. This is really great for bronzer. I can just angle it and get it right under my cheekbone because it's really dense. I can just place it exactly where I want. And then for highlight, I actually like using a little bit less dense of a brush just because I don't like looking like a glitter bomb. I really want it to sort of blend into just this little area right here. So I like using the Sigma F35 tapered highlighter brush. So it's a little bit smaller. As you can see, it's just the right size for fitting on my cheekbones. I also like that this isn't quite as dense. You know, it keeps its shape really well, but it's not going to pack on too much into one area. So then moving on to this brush. Again, it's dirty. I'm sorry I didn't wash them. It's not time for me to wash it yet. I'm gonna wash it this weekend. But this is the P86 brush from Sigma, and this is one of their like mini Sigmax brushes. So it has those really nice dense synthetic fibers, but I like this little cone shaped one because it can get really precise areas to conceal, and if you want to blend things out, you can just angle it a little bit and do that as well. This is just a really great brush if you deal with sort of like redness in certain areas or hyperpigmentation, because what I do is I'll just dip this in some of my cream concealer and find a little area that has hyperpigmentation, and I'll pat it on there, and then I'll just sort of swirl it around, and it just buffs the color out really, really well and applies it at the same time. So it makes my makeup application go a lot faster, and it just, I don't know, it kind of does this airbrushing thing where your makeup just looks perfect. I don't usually deal with a lot of under eye circles, but I know a lot of you girls do, and this is perfect for that because it just fits under this area so well. I love this brush. They have a couple of other Sigmax brushes, like a domed one and like a couple different shapes, but I really like this pointed one. Again, it's just more precise. So now I wanted to go into my brushes that are sort of my workhorse eye brushes. I'm going to just share with you first the ones that I think are absolutely essential, and then I'll go into more of the like sophisticated brushes. So I think that one of the most important eye brushes to have is one of these. This is the Sigma E55 brush. As you can see, it's kind of domed at the top and it's like flat. So there's two different sides. And as you can also see, I've used color on this before. So one side is one color and the other side is another. What's really great about this brush is the two-sided factor, because you can pack one color onto one side and then just flip it over and pack another color on the other side. And then since the end is sort of thinner and flat, you can blend out curves between two different colors using the tip of it. When I'm first putting on eyeshadow, this is literally one of the first brushes that I grab, because this is what I use to pack on color, especially just in that first step where you're trying to get a layer down, and then you can use other colors to sort of define and blend it out. But this is the one that I use first to just sort of get color on there in the first place. But if you're on a super tight budget and just want to go to the drugstore and need this kind of brush, there's lots out there. And then the next kind of iconic shape of a brush that I really recommend is this sort of pencil type brush. And the reason I call it a pencil brush is it just has that really fine tip at the end. This one is the Sigma E30 brush. Again, I did a green eye look, so it's green right now. I usually have several of these laying around in my everyday makeup cup, just the same kind of pencil tipped one, because I really love using these for defining my crease area. So now I want to move on to some eye brushes that are a little bit more sophisticated. They're not necessary in a beginner's makeup brush set, but I find them to be super, super useful. So I'll start off with this. This is sort of a larger, fluffy, flat brush. And I really like using these kind of brushes for applying shadow right here on my brow bone. It's just really nice and big and flat, so I can apply it in one sweep. And it just can blend everything out really nicely. This one is actually a discontinued brush. This is a Rockin' Republic 201 brush, which I love it if you can get your hands on it. Like with all the other brushes, you can probably find this kind of shape from other brands as well. But yeah, I do like this. It's not necessary because obviously you can use some of the other brushes to just like put shadow on your brow bone, but this is my favorite. Big, fluffy, flat one on the side kind of brush. Another brush that I also like using on my brow bone, I guess it's just whatever I grab for. I really like both of these. This one is a doe-footed brush. As you can see, it kind of has a doe foot. It looks like a doe's foot. So it's kind of like round and a little bit angled from the side here. But these bristles are really nice and dense and soft. So again, it's just really nice to apply color on your brow bone. It just sweeps on really easily. And I can just put color there in one sweep and it just looks perfect every time. This is a generic brush that I got from Coastal Scents. When they have like sort of the darker dye up here, they call it Italian Badger. So I'm not sure if that's what it's called on there right now, because I know they kind of switch out their brushes and I've had this one for quite a long time. But I do like this style of brush. Okay, so now I have a couple of more precise brushes that I really like using for applying color to my lower lash line. I know that sounds kind of silly to have a brush just for applying color to my lower lash line, but a lot of times after I put on eyeliner, I want to sort of smoke that color out with some eyeshadow. And I like using these really tiny little brushes to be able to do that. I mean, I don't have a ton of space underneath here to apply color, otherwise I'll look like somebody punched me in the face. Like, I really like smudging stuff very, very close into the lash line. So these are two brushes I really love. The one with the silver ferrule is from Sigma, and it's the E21 brush, and I think that's actually new from their performance kit, I think. I will leave a link to that in the info box just because I'm so in love with this brush. And then this small one, which is more of a traditional like pencil tip, is from Makeup Show. It's the 5E05 brush. But these are really good. I like having this rounded one because there's more room at the tip to be able to apply eyeshadow. So I like using this to smudge my eyeliner, and then I like using the little pencil tipped one to apply highlight to my inner corners. And it just works really well. I get color exactly where I want it to be. They're both really great brushes. So the next brush I really like is an angled synthetic brush for my eyeliner. This is one example of that. This is the Sigma E65 brush. I've had a lot of angled brushes, a lot of synthetic angled brushes from a lot of different brands, and honestly, this is the kind of brush that I use it so often. It's really one that you kind of just have to replace after every 1 or 2 years because the ends just end up fraying. So I don't think it's super important where you get this kind of brush from. I've used everything from high end to low end. I have a Sonia Kashuk one. I have these Sigma ones, which are really nice. I've gotten ones from Sephora. I've even literally gone to the art store because they do sell brushes like this at the art store. There's a couple of brands that I know have been talked quite a bit about, but I think they work just as well. I mean, it's the same kind of synthetic bristles. It's not animal hair. And you're just gonna get a much more precise, clean line when applying eyeliner with like gel eyeliner, which I do have a tutorial for how I apply gel eyeliner for a winged eyeliner look. If you want to see that, you can click right here. I love the angled one because you can just get more coverage in one swoop versus one of those really tiny, thin eyeliner brushes, but that's just my personal preference. So yeah, I think these angled eyeliner brushes are absolutely a must-have. The last brush I wanted to talk about is actually a lip brush. This one I believe I also got from Coastal Scents kind of a while ago, and it doesn't have to be like the best quality brush in the world, but what I like about it is it's so tiny. The tip is so itty bitty, and it's just a really short synthetic fiber, a little bit curved at the end brush. And I actually don't use a lip brush to apply products on my lips. I really usually just apply lipstick from the tube, if I'm applying it on myself, of course. And I'll use lip glosses that already come with a tube. Really, I'm very low maintenance when it comes to products on my lip. But I love using this as a concealer brush because for me, my biggest issue with concealing is covering up post-acne hyperpigmentation. And for that, this is just the perfect size. Like, it'll just cover exactly the area that I want it to, and it's not so big that it kind of goes all over the place. Versus the brush I talked about earlier, this is super great for like under eyes and around your nose. Sometimes for really tiny spots, this will blur it out a little too much, but this I can really pack on the concealer exactly where I want it to be. So if you're finding difficulty finding a good concealer brush because you have, you know, small areas that you want to cover up, try a lip brush. It works actually really, really well. So I guess that is the end of my favorite brushes video. I apologize if this kind of went on a little bit long. I have a lot of brushes, so it's really difficult for me to pick out just a few to share with you. But these are the kinds of brushes that I use on a daily basis when I'm doing makeup on myself, just casually every single day. So I hope this was helpful for some of you who, you know, maybe were confused about what brushes do what and what brushes are the best for this and that. I hope this gave you some kind of guidance. So if you would like a list of all of the brushes I talked about, I will have a shorter list down below, but I'll also talk about them with a little bit more of a description on my blog as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. And again, if you want to check out my blog, that'll be at FromHeadToToe.com. And if you have any questions about brushes or anything else, you can always ask me on Twitter as well. It's twitter.com/FromHeadToToe. This is Jen, and let me know in the comments what other videos you would like to see next. I will talk to you guys very soon. Bye!